Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. A double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well, peace, and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Russia and Iran Further Strengthening Ties. Now, pretty much, Russia says it wants to develop a cooperation with Iran within the CSTO, right, which is the Collective Security Treaty, Collective Security Treaty Organization, right, which is something that they set up uh, in 2002, but it originated, you know, I guess, no, in 1992, which you'll read. And ultimately, this goes back to prophecy with Russia, and Iran and many other allies joined to Russia, basically, coming together and then ultimately going against America. So this is, I'll read this. It says Russia wants to develop cooperation with Iran within CSTO, right? So it's posted December 15th. It says Russia, which is today. Russia wants to develop security cooperation with Iran, including within the Collective Security Treaty Organization. Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said, we are open to cooperation. He said in an interview with Iranian state television and radio corporation, we have the Collective Security Treaty Organization. So this is something they already have, right? And pursuant to Isaiah 19, the cruel Lord, his counsel is confounded, and he basically Nero 47 has made moves to actually cause these different nations to come together against America. Even NATO is preparing for war, different things, but ultimately they're seeing that they can no longer lean on America like they did before in the past. It says, we want to cooperate with Iran and with with our other neighbors, including within this structure, he noted. So then you can say, what is that structure, whatever the case may be. Oh, here it is down here. So I searched it up, Collective Security Treaty Organization. It says the collective, this is AI overview, right? The Collective Security Treaty Organization is a Eurasian military alliance of 6 post-Soviet states: Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, right? Russia, Pakistan, formed for collective defense, strengthening peace, and countering security threats like terrorism. It says acting as a regional counterpart to NATO. Established in 2002, it originated from the 1992 Collective Security Treaty and provides mutual military assistance, with members pledging to defend any attacked member as if it were an attack on all. So this is like a counterpart, like they said, this is a NATO counterpart for Russia ultimately, because we know pursuant to scriptures that Russia will lead these people. And Armenia, is one of those places mentioned in the scriptures that will be joined with Russia, right? So we have the Persians, right? Iran, we have Armenia. Okay. So I'll read a little bit of this right here. As you can see, Jeremiah 51:9, or start at 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be ill. It says, we will have ill Babylon, but she is not ill. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. says the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall have brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall our power. And ultimately, we will be delivered, and America will be judged for the sins, against the people, against the Israelites. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall have raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, right? And this is talking about the Russians, all right? For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel, the vengeance of his temple. All right. And I'm gonna grab some more precepts. I'll read this one right here. Jeremiah 50:9 says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? And when you go into Ezekiel 38, it explains that it's going to turn Russia back, basically, and put hooks into Russia's jaws to make them come up against Babylon. And many nations shall be joined with Russia, right? So that's what this is saying here, too. For lo, Jeremiah 50:9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? The north, Russia is in the north. It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence from thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So all the missiles, right? The arrows are going to those missiles that Russia possessed, and the allies that's joined unto Russia. They're all going to hit their mark. Right, Joel chapter 2 goes to the fact that these things, will, basically attack where they need to be attacked. All right, like that. So Joel chapter 2:7, it says, so this is talking about making missiles. It says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways. They shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon a sword, they shall not be wounded. So ultimately, nothing's going to be able to stop these missiles, because they're going to be, it says, their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. All right. So let me find this Armenia. All right, so I can hear it. All right. So this is Jeremiah 51:25. I'll start here. It says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, which destroyed all the earth. Right, so he's talking about America. America is the one destroying all the earth, poisoning the waters and the airs, right? And making fake food, right? Beyond meat, messing with the animals and people. Behold, I'm against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, which destroyed all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. Yeah, and that's mostly because the missiles will be shot on this place, Babylon the Great, and also the land of Israel. It says, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shai. Right? So ultimately, there's going to be nothing left. Nothing here is going to survive. It's going to be a desolate place. It says, set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together the kingdoms of Ariat, Minia, and Ashkenaz, which goes into Armenia, which is meaning you got Ashkenaz is Germany, and Ararat should be Turkey. All right. Now just double check that real quick. Yeah. All right. So once again, Ararat will be Turkey, Minia will be Armenia, and Ashkenaz will be Germany. And even today in the news, what do you have? Turkey and Germany, they're wishy-washy with NATO and being with America, right? And we already know, pursuant to Revelations 18, around verse 10, that the 10 horns shall hate the whore, right? And make her desolate, burn her with fire, because they also would join with Russia to shoot missiles on America, right? And they already have this treaty. Armenia is in there, right? And Belarus has this treaty, right? That's why you see them buddy with Russia in these last days. It says, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. So the captain is going to be a Russian. It says, prepare against her the nation with the king of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of the dominion. So again, the Medes goes into Russia. It says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places, and her bars are broken. And we can see that happening now, right? That's why I'm waiting to see what's going on with Venezuela, because Russia's over there. China's over there too. All right, and you can already see the Ukrainian situation. America's like, oh, I'm done with it. This is Biden's war, right? I didn't want no parts of this, and now Trump is trying to leave. All right, but we know that the least of us is going to draw this man out to this war. All right. So let me go back over here and read some of this. So this is the treaty that they have, and they're trying to mingle that with Iran. Now Iran's gonna get up in there. So I had to, fact check it. AI said yes. It says Russia wants to develop cooperation with Iran within CSTO. It says yes, Russia has expressed a desire to develop cooperation with Iran within the framework of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, and Iranian officials have participated in CSTO, preliminary assembly meetings. Iran is not a full member of the CSTO. The organization is a military alliance of post-Soviet states: Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Tajikistan. All right. So a senior Russian lawmaker, chairman of the Russian Duma Defense Committee, has publicly called for Iran's potential membership to be examined in a more concrete way. And this is what they're doing now, as the bully of the world is basically hitting that, going to war with Iran, right, for the sake of Israel. That's why the weak are now saying that they're strong. No, they don't care that America is in these different areas. America went to Venezuela, China and Iran pulled up. They was trying to do some stuff over there in Ukraine, and Russia wasn't having it, right? So it's a lot happening. It says that the countries are already deepening their broader bilateral relationship, driven by mutual isolation from the West due to sanctions, right? So this was Donald Trump different decrees that they have prescribed to try to isolate Russia and Iran and some others, but all this has done is push those countries together, just like the scripture said it would be together in the last days to ultimately destroy, America and Israel, and that's how World War III is coming. says this includes a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement signed in January 2025 that entered into force in October 2025, covering economic, political, and defense ties, but without a mutual defense clause. Okay, so this pretty much just passed through, right? We're in December 9th, so all the all the alliances and things like that is all being played out right now in real time. We're seeing, America trying to leave NATO, NATO trying to figure out what they're going to do next, right? And Iran and all these other Armenian, being joined with Russia in these last days. You got some stuff over here. I was looking at it. It says EU gets ready for war with Russia, wants military plants in Ukraine. It says Iran would like to resume dialogue with U.S. IAEA, Russia ready to assist. All right, so it says EU gets ready for war with Russia, wants military plants in Ukraine. Brussels claims that will be it will be investment into Europe's security, but from Hungary it believes there's no logic in this. All right, so they're even saying now the actions of EU is the biggest global threat because this is gonna, you know, it's gonna be World War III because that's a lot of nations, right? So it says, as part of preparation for military conflict with Russia, the European Union is discussing financing options for Ukraine's defense industry, one of which is the use of immobilized Russian assets for the purpose. Hungary's Foreign Affairs and Trade Minister Peter said after a foreign ministers meeting in Brussels. So they're gearing up for this thing, but it's Yahweh Bashmi Shah that's mustering the host of the battle, right? He's allowing these things to go down. So there's a lot happening, but I just wanted to touch on this regarding the Iran and Russia because obviously this is a big thing, especially with Israel, right? Because when you get Jeremiah 50 and 45, because America's already struck um, Iran with the bunker buster bombs to basically do a purpose of destroying Iran's capabilities of making weapons, basically. And it's been reports that they didn't do a great job, like they thought they did. And Israel, right, is still afraid. Jeremiah 50 and 45, it says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And this least of the flock is talking about Israel, the 1948ers, right? The last thing set up, by America, basically. All right, let me go back over here because you can see this right here where it says Russia did not betray Syria. Developments there are its domestic affair. So even this type of talk right here regarding what happened in Syria when Israel and America basically did that little ceasefire from Gaza, Lebanon, whatever the case may be, they went to Syria and overtook Syria and replaced the guy that was there, Assad, right, and put in that new guy there that they had in the White House recently. And now they're talking about we didn't betray them. So while this has been talking about, they're making plans with Iran. So basically, me just thinking Russia wouldn't want to do the same thing where it seems like it's betraying its allies. And that's why it's over there in Venezuela too, because they have treaties with Venezuela. And this is the guy right here they're talking about, Assad. Assad, whatever how to say his name, said, Look what it says right here. So going to Assad, I'm not too sure what they mean where it says he did not coordinate his approaches with Russia, right? It says he did not coordinate any approaches. We maintained close relations with Assad and extended assistance to his government in 2015 when Damascus was effectively besieged and at risk of falling to opposition forces. We established military presence there, air force and naval bases, and actively worked to dismantle terrorist strongholds. Our efforts were, collaborative, involving other international partners, primarily Iran and Turkey. So there you go, Turkey. I just mentioned Turkey was one of those people that's going to be joined with Russia, and they worked with Turkey here, to do certain things, and Iran, of course. All right, so let's look into this right here. It says Iran-Russia security intertwine each other with each other. I believe I just read this and it said with each other. Let's see right here. It says chairman of the Iranian Parliament National Security and Foreign Policy Commission, Ibrahim, who has traveled to Moscow with the aim of participating in the 18th meeting of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, as well as developing the preliminary ties with Russia, made the remarks in Moscow on Wednesday. Yo, take a shot every time they say this word. Now just playing. All right, so Russia and Iran is meeting regarding strategic ties, and strengthening their ties, like I said in my title. So you can check this out. You see the website, and, you see what it's talking about. It is true. I fact checked it and all of that. So this is just prophecy watching. These things are going to happen. Basically, these nations joining up with each other, and ultimately, I didn't get Ezekiel 38. Show you that part there. To come against America, right, in Israel. It says Ezekiel 38:4. So this is going into the prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel. Gog is talking about Russia. All right, and if you're invading Israel, you're going to invade America too, which the scriptures speak about that, right? So you invade America, you're going to invade Israel, right? So it says Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, because right, during the Soviet Union collapsed, right, and basically Russia as this military place just went into hibernation, but now they're back, right? And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them both with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. So many people are going to be joined with Russia. It says Persia, right, which is the Persians, which goes into Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And you can see these different African countries, kind of upset with things that's happening on their borders regarding Israel. Gomer, which goes into Germany, it says in all his bands, the house of Togomar, right, which goes into of the north borders, which goes to Turkey. It says in all his bands, and many people would be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia's going to be the captain, right, and it's going to be a guard unto these different nations. And that's what's happening, all right? It says, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely over them. Ultimately, this is going to the fact that Russia is going to come against Israel. They've been enjoying peace. America has been protecting them. But once again, you got Joel 3:9, where it says that the weak say they are strong, right? So they're no longer caring about the force of America, right, and the repercussions of attacking Israel, right? It says Ezekiel 38:9, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy band, and many people with thee. So ultimately that, this thing is going to take place, and we can see it unfolding now, right? Once again, so it was like, prophecy watch, we're seeing things happen in real time, Lord willing, you're edified and comforted, knowing that the scriptures are faithful and they are true. Shalom to the whole elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.